how to set up a product page. So there's a lot of different concepts that we can use, but there's like, I guess what I would say, a broad structure that we know from experience works. And it all kind of stems down to like, what's your goal like, or what's someone's goal that's visiting your product page? What's their goal when they actually jump on it? And you want to really quickly show them a few things. You want to show them who the product's for. You want to show them what it does. So like who is going to actually benefit from it, like what kind of transformation they're going to get, and how they can buy it, and like how much it might cost, or like what kind of time investment they might need to actually get the results that you're offering. Now, obviously, this is a 3D printing community, so mainly we're going to be selling products, but also you could also sell services. So like we've got some community members that, got a couple actually that I know have businesses and they sell 3D printing solutions. So they're not offering a product, they're offering a service. So these concepts work across the board because it's just got to do with psychology, like I mentioned before. So the first thing that I actually want to show you guys, I was going to jump into the structure of it and just kind of jump in there, but I want to show you this video where I kind of like learned the concept from, or like there's this guy on YouTube. Well, his talks on YouTube. This guy here, David. Oh, hang on. Let me share my screen. Share screen, entire screen. There we go. All right. So this guy on YouTube here, David JP, he's done a lot of TED Talks. This video here, he's got a lot of traction. So 5.7 million views. All right. That doesn't mean that what he's saying is good. I'll talk about what he's saying, right? But instead of getting you to watch the whole 20-minute videos, I've watched this a couple of times actually. What I've done is I've just gone to the transcript section here. I've copied the transcript and then I put it into ChatGPT and I asked it, can you write me a summary? So I literally just summarized it for you guys. But basically he's like a master at presenting. And this video is called, Avoid Death by PowerPoint, because he basically shows how flawed we are when we are presenting to people. And how PowerPoint is like warps the way that we actually like show things to people. And before I jump into like exactly like what his recommendations are, like, and you can see some of them here, but before I jump into that, let me just quickly flash an image on the screen and hopefully you can have a look at it, right? But just read this. Just have a look. I'm going to open it up now. Hopefully I've given enough time for you to read that. This image, basically, there's a few things going on, right? It says, you'll read this first. And I know when I first saw it, I did. And then I went down and I read the second bit and then the third bit. And then I went back up the page and you'll read this last, that bit at the top. Now, the reason that you do that is for two factors. There's two main like kind of driving forces that make you do this, right? The first is the size of the text, bigger things. What your eyes kind of snap to first, what your brain prioritizes, like bigger things. And then the second part is contrast. So you can see that we got different colors. So white on black black writing on a white background, that's the highest contrast really that you can get. And then the blue and white are closer together. So when it says you'll read this first, it's the biggest and it's the most contrasted part of that slide. And therefore it's like just super like unlikely that you read any other part of this. I will automatically snap to that part of it. So that's just how like these two concepts that this guy David ends up talking about. So he says use size intentionally. And why he says death by PowerPoint is because he's actually saying that templates on PowerPoint, they end up having the heading the biggest, but he's like, you don't want people to look at the heading. You want them to look at the content, right? So you have the heading on the screen, they've read the heading and it's like, and then for the rest of the time that you're spending on that slide, they're just like staring at that heading. So he says use size intentionally and then using contrast to guide focus. So whatever the key elements on your product page, the main like bits that you want to like really drive home, they should be bigger and in more contrast. That's basically like a take home message. And then, well, before I go on, does that make sense? Hopefully. Good. If you have any questions, just jump on in. Is there a chat? There is a chat thing. Yeah, feel free. There is a chat box. If you don't want to like talk, you can just like type your message into there and then I can kind of like talk about it from there. Okay. So that's size and contrast is what we covered. Let's have a look at what's next. So one message per slide. So this was a really interesting point. I'll see if I can quickly like scrub through the presentation to see where he does this. Oh yeah, here we go. I love this bit. Can someone tell me if you guys can hear this when I'm playing it? Can you guys hear that? Maybe not. It's okay if you can't actually, but let me talk it through. So he's talking about how many objects or how many things can you kind of process at once. So when you look at a PowerPoint presentation, typically someone will like put a slide on and then they'll have like 10 dot points there. And what he says is quite funny. And like, it's so true because I think we can all relate to it. Like, how many times have you sat through like a presentation and someone puts like a big slide up with like 10 dot points and your eyes kind of glaze over and you're like, oh, I don't know, like, you're just like, all right, there's like a lot going on here. He's like, ideally to get your best attention, you have one thing on that slide, right? So he says, how many objects can you see here? And if you quickly flash this on the screen, you can't really quickly count it. And then he goes on and he reduces the number. How many objects can you see here? And when it gets to 7, you can't really tell when it's flashed on the screen. When it gets to 6, you can't really tell, but you can start to like get an idea maybe. And then when it's 5, if you flash this on the screen really quickly, you can go, yeah, there's 5 objects there. So what he says is if you need to present like a list of things or a group of things, try to keep it to 5 as a maximum. That's like the take home message for that part. So obviously keeping it simple is better. Keeping the bits that you want them to see big and in high contrast is better. And yeah, like, because you at the end of the day, like, you don't get points for like making it complex or like for having more information. You get points for like really connecting with the person that's seeing it. And you don't have to necessarily like answer all their questions like when they first see it. And if any of you guys have a website and you're selling stuff, or even online or even in markets, like if you're like, I've sold heaps at markets and in person, right? And the amount of time that you have the price list there next to the product and someone will come up and ask you and say, how much is that? And it's like right next to the product, right? And that's because that person like sometimes just doesn't want to spend the time and like read everything. And like, I got a question like just yesterday, like on like, hey, how big is this product like on your website? It's like, all you have to do is like scroll down like a few centimeters, like on your phone, and you'll see it there. But not everyone's going to spend the time to do that. And this is that concept that I just described isn't just oh yeah, that's so true. It's like, really think about it, right? You'll still get questions or people not knowing what the price is when your price tag is next to your product. They will still ask for it, right? That means to get someone's attention on the right things, I think like, I don't know, right? Like, but I think it's become a lot harder to actually get people's attention to where you want it to go, right? Or for them to even just spend the time, right? So this is why you don't get points for making it complex. You get points for making it dead simple, okay? So that is limit objects 6 per slide. So make it simple. If you can, make what you're showing them really, really simple. We already talked about contrast, but there's another nuance here that I wanted to bring up. It's light versus dark. So when you're looking at something, let's see if I can find it in here. Otherwise, I'll just does anyone make PowerPoints for work or something like that? That'd be cool. Oh, here we go. Dark background. Right. Okay. So now you can have high contrast, but do you put the bright color as the background or the dark color as the background? This is kind of question here, right? And it works for PowerPoint or product pages or landing pages or sign up forms, whatever, right? Like this is a general concept. Like our brain doesn't change depending on what we're looking at. We have one brain that analyzes it all the same. So what he's showing here is the difference between a bright background. And I don't know about you guys, but when that pops up, like I've got a laptop, I'm sitting quite close to it. And when it's a bright background, it's all white. My eyes kind of, and I've got bad eyes as well, but my eyes kind of go like a little bit, they narrow a little bit because there's more light entering. So I don't need, my pupils can like, shrink a little bit. My eyes can contract and like make that happen. And I'm watching this, right? And that's what happens to my eyes. But then if you change that to a dark background, which you'll do now. Oh, hang on. Your eyes kind of relax, especially if it's like the entire screen. So that's the concept of, what color like to put. You're trying to actually lower the kind of stimulation for the background because you actually want them to read the text, right? So the text needs to be the part that pops with brightness. So in this case, they've used like white as the brighter color and obviously black as the other color, but you could have a whole range of different colors. But the concept here is try and limit the kind of light exposed in the background because you want them to focus on the actual text. So yeah, that's the concept there. Okay. And then we have basically covered everything on this list. Now that is, that's a 20-minute video. Like I said, I was going to make you watch it. So I've just summarized it in ChatGPT here, right? But I've watched that a few times and yeah, I can say that like even like testing this concept, even just on presentations, super helpful. And then with our landing pages, especially like, with some of 3D Pretty Gear's landing pages, not for products as much, but for other things, we've been using it a lot more. And we've realized that, simpler is really better. Yeah. Any questions on that before I go on to like kind of how to set up the product page in terms of like, what do you actually show, like first and second and So let me know what you think. Who has a website here actually? Before I go on, thanks, Kat. Thanks for welcoming me back. Yeah, I was on 3 hours sleep last night. Back in attack and tired. That's all right. Okay, I'll keep going on. All right. So what do we actually put on our product page? So it depends sometimes how people get there, but mainly we need to show them, just an Etsy store. All right, awesome. Thanks, Eddie. So the Etsy store is a really interesting one, and it actually leans into these concepts that we're talking about now in a really big way. Actually, you almost can't even see the text part of your post, right? It's like really small. You get a small text preview, so you can't even add a lot of writing you can, but you won't see it like straight away. There's like a show more button, right? Or at least from like I've sold some stuff on Etsy, but we focus more on the web. We focus entirely on the website now. But yeah, like even just seeing other community members post on Etsy, it's basically the images that you're showing, right? And that's them trying to like, really lean into how people are using, this website, because people don't want to read these slabs of text, right? And it goes back to like keeping things simple, right? An image will like really quickly like capture you, whereas like a slab of text will like really quickly make you go, I don't want to read that. But it doesn't matter what kind of page you have, you will have like really common themes that you need to cover. So the first is the headline. So of course, your headline, especially for like an Etsy store or eBay, Amazon, whatever, your headline is going to be absolutely like critical in that first image, because that is going to decide if someone actually clicks on it, right? So if someone is searching you on Etsy, or searching for stuff on Etsy and you come up, your headline and your photo, that first photo, absolutely critical. But if you run ads, say through your Instagram, Facebook account or whatever, Google, and you direct people straight onto the page, then it's a little bit different because they're already on that page. If that makes sense, they're actually landing on it. Whereas if they've searched for it, they're going to have to exactly. So there's a difference between how that works, right? At the end of the day, what does your headline need to actually do? Either way, like if you're going to catch someone's attention, you can either do it. You say if they've searched you on Etsy, you got to catch their attention because you're going to come up as a search result and they need to get on your page or else they've got no chance of buying your stuff. Or if you direct them straight onto your page, what does your headline need to do? In both cases, it needs to actually promise something. A lot of the time, and like I'm guilty of this, right? And like I'm still changing like product names and stuff like that. And like we're going to go through and do like a big change of all the product names on Ari and Arlo like this month, but we've already done it on the Google Ads side of things. And that made a big difference actually. But we would just be, and it was my fault because I'm an engineer, right? And so I'm very like, what is this product? It's this. And this is the name. It's a train, it's an affirmation bar. But why do people buy those things? And like we talked about this before, it's for a transformation. So how about you name it something that is more like that? It's a promise. This is what you're actually going to get if you buy this. I understand if Woolworths go, yeah, this is toilet paper or whatever. This is peanut butter. But we're selling things that sometimes, and I think most people here, right, like probably everyone here, right, we're selling something that's a bit more transformative or there's a bit more like creativity, I think, that we can use in the headline. So it's like you want to go for that transformation, that thing that person, if they trusted you, that you were going to deliver on the promise. What is the promise? That's the headline. Yeah. That is what I would put there because you really want to capture their attention. The best way to do that, the best way to do that is to show them the transformation that they're going to get, because that's the whole point, that they're even going to think about buying your product. So if you don't start there, if you start with like the other thing, you might not capture their attention and they might not even know what they're really going to get if they buy that part or click onto it. So you want to be clear with what you're going to get. The next thing is like the subheadline. So a lot of the time when you have this like main heading, you want to like clarify or like add context to it, or you might have like a subheading. Actually, Eddie, on Etsy, you know what? I'm just going to go on Etsy right now. Let me share my screen. Etsy, 3D printed car. Yeah, car part, whatever. No, you don't get a subheading. Okay, not on the search bit. You know, it's interesting. The subheading is your reviews in a weird way. Yeah, I mean, it is. It's like literally the next bit down. Yeah, so when you get searched, your subheading in this case is super important. It's your number of reviews. 4.9 compared to 1 5-star review. This is like 200 and something. You know that. So you're trying to add like context to the offer, clarify maybe what it is and like what the promise is. But in this case, what Etsy have done is like, oh no, we're going for like credibility. You're more likely to click on something if you have credible reviews. So if you're working with Etsy, your subheading is your reviews. So you need to get that right because you really want people to like trust that's what you're doing. But again, if you're getting them to land straight on your page, it doesn't matter as much. So there's your heading. And then you don't even get given a subheading in this. It's mainly going to focus you on the pictures. So on a website, I guess this would make a lot of sense. Or maybe you could technically say like, maybe this is your subheading because it's like the first bit of text that they're going to read after it. after the heading. But basically, if they start to read this, like this description here, STLFB, whatever, blah, 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 they're going to know what they're going to get in this case. And I think this is a 3D model that they're going to buy, right? So they probably, as a person buying a 3D model, you want to know what format it's in. It's probably the number one thing that you want to know, but you're not going to put STL, OBJ, and all of that in your heading, because that's just going to be like ridiculous. These are like nuances, or like the first kind of thing that you're clarifying. This is what they're getting. So actually in this case, like I don't know this, whatever. I've just clicked on a random Etsy thing. Custom car miniature, personalized vehicle. These are all like search terms that they're going for. Custom 3D print car parts. And they even do custom ones, I guess. Custom 3D modeling. Well, there you go. So they're offering like a few things here. And then the first thing in there, I guess, text, like maybe we can kind of class it as a subheading, is clarifying what the actual offer is. These are the formats that you're going to get your model in. It's not a physical model. So yeah, that's the second part. The third part, and this is the bit that's like super, super critical, is the hero image, right? So in this case with Etsy, it's like we've got all these different options when I search for something, like literally thousands, right? Look, it's 1,000+ items with ads even for this term. Isn't that insane? Like imagine how much money Etsy are making. Anyway, so that hero image is like super important. What do we actually put in that image? Are there any, do you just put the actual product on a white background like this? Oh, this is a video one. So this actually shows the product in action. They turn on the light, they're showing different parts of it, and it's very engaging because obviously it's moving. I like that. This one is, I can't even tell what that is. Maybe Eddie will know. Is it part of a car model of a car distributor? Okay. So I wasn't immediately noticing what this was, but this one I did. It was like, it's a lamp, but it's made of like the part of the car, the piston there. Yeah. So what do you actually put in it? It's not rocket science. What I would always suggest is putting an in-person, what do you call it? An in-use image. For Arinalo, one of our products is a keychain. This used to be, this one here, customizable keychain pack. This used to look like this, where it's just the keychain on like a blank background, like these other ones, which we're going to change soon. We changed it to this, and I just wanted to see like what the difference was. Like double your click-through rate, like double to triple. And actually like we get really good orders with this now. People buy like either a pack of these or a few packs of them. So like, it's like 78 or 70, $90 or whatever it is on like a couple of keychains, right? I'm not ripping anyone off here. Like these people are really happy to get that. And I know how long it takes to design these and everything like that. But when that image wasn't an in-shot image, I just get way less people on that product page. Right? So if I go back, it looks pro. Thank you. Yeah, sell the dream. Exactly. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you have to sell the dream. And like the image needs to do that in like 0.1 of a second. Right? And that's why I think these video ones are really cool, because I have a feeling on the phone, this will automatically start to play. Is that correct? I reckon it would. And you can see like some of these, like if I was scrolling down here, right? Some of these ones, I'm like, these are like pretty average images and no reviews, 17 reviews. So, some sales and then 1 review. So whereas when you look at if I keep scrolling down, I look at some of these like, oh, this one captured my eye. This one right here. And this one, actually, they both look really cool. Oh, wow. 1 review. Okay. You can't always pick it. But I reckon a lot of people will be clicking on this. All right. So yeah, you want to sell that dream. So really you have to understand who your customer is and what that dream is. And then you're trying to like connect the product to that. So for a lot of what we do, we draw most of our, hopefully, I'm on the 3D Printer Gear Instagram here. It's okay. Let's go to Ari and Arlo. So for what we do with Ari and Arlo, we get a lot of our business, basically so much of it through Instagram. And it's all credit to Victoria, but basically like she shows off the setup, in a baby's room or a kid's room. And that's it. This is the final version of a cake. Now, it's got 7 likes, right? But we sell these cake toppers. We sell a lot of them. Sometimes it's hard to pick actually. Like our followers actually gone down a few hundred in the last like few weeks. I think it's because we started about 6 years ago. So some kids are growing up, blah, 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 whatever. But our orders with much less ad spend, I think we're spending about 500, but we get 4, 5, 6 grand a month, in sales. So that's kind of like where we're at. We show the dream through our Instagram really well. But now we need to like make sure that all of our products look like this keychain one. Yeah. And I'm starting to change that more and more. Okay. So hopefully, are there any questions on that? Let me know, just interject. But we'll go on to the next thing. So I'll just keep the example the same actually. So customizable keychain pack, go into that one. And I just realized I don't have a subheading. That's something I can change. So what someone buying here is like, maybe the dream is, and I think a lot of people are buying this for school bags. So the subheading could be something like, get ready for school, get your kids ready for school. But it's got nothing to do with the product. And actually a lot of products will get your kids ready for school more than just the keychain. Like, you need uniforms, bottles, pencil, books. Oh man, the books. Are they still really expensive? They must be. Gosh, I remember carrying a stack of books that would hurt my back. Anyway, that's my point here with this is once they get on the page, they need to really quickly figure out how they can buy it. So you need to make it really clear what they're going to get. So 1, 2, or 3 keychains. And then as you scroll down, I've just made these bits bold, but I was thinking about making them bigger as well. Because a lot of people like that our stuff's made in-house. So it's not like mass produced or whatever. And then like features, I can leave that small. That's fine. Made in-house should be big. Maybe sustainability if you want to lean on that. I think this bit I could probably make big if they can help pick any colors, because what we actually find is that you can actually tell sometimes when the parents pick the colors or the kids pick the colors, because the kid will pick like banana yellow and like orange or something, like, whereas the parent will like pick like white and blue or white and pink. Yeah, maybe like picking with it. So you can like start to make bits bigger that you want like people to like focus on. Yeah. And then, so this is the next big bit that you need is like, obviously you have the call to action, which is you add to cart. It needs to be like clear how they can do that. So this button needs to be high contrast. So that's why it's like a soft background with a dark add to cart. It needs to be like really obvious. That's your call to action. It needs to be like super obvious. On Etsy, let's have a look. So it's a white background, black button. Yeah, perfect. And then you want like social proof. I added these 2 images to every product page. I did like through a template thing. And with half the traffic on our website, because I basically like, I didn't kill it, but I basically like went, you know what, I'm going to spend like half the money on ads and see if I can really optimize like how we show the products to people. So we get half the people on the website that we did it then a few months ago, but we are getting the same amount of orders. So I'm paying way less ads. And so I'm getting more conversions, basically. Doubled the conversions. And probably, I think it was like 30 or 40% more like retention. Like a customer would spend like more time on the page. And that's because, so we still run Google ads. Customers will, or a potential customer will click on the Google ad for the keychain and they'll go straight onto this page. And typically what people do is they kind of like, they'll have like a first glance and they'll see like all the big things. I'll see that. They should see my subheading that I'm going to make this stuff bigger now. And now that I'm like talking it out with you guys, actually like really consolidating it for me. And then they'll see this, right? And I think just them seeing this just give them like so much more confidence in like what you are and what you're actually doing. Otherwise they can't really be confident in what you're doing. So this bit here, the social proof, needs to be really like big, but I wouldn't make it like the first thing that they see, because the first thing should be about them and what the transformation is to them. And then when they kind of think like, okay, that's cool, but who am I buying it from? That kind of comes second, that thought. Then they hit with this and it's like, oh, okay, all right, I'm good to go. I mean, for us as well, like we get a lot of people coming from the Instagram. I could show you my emails, right? But in the last like few weeks, so how old is my daughter now? She's a couple weeks old. The amount of orders that we got, where in the notes, they're like, congrats on your newborn or whatever. Like, or we did some expo orders like a few months ago that people like locked in the expo price. And just now that they're coming and say, hey, my daughter's name's this, we'd love to make the rainbow. Congrats on your newborn. Like heaps of that, right? Because they've connected with us through social media. So I didn't realize how big of a lever like this was, but yeah, Victoria's done a really great job in like crafting it, but gaining trust is the key point that I'm making here. So this helps gain trust, because how else does someone gain trust like from you if they're just landing on Etsy page or your Amazon page? Whatever. You need like to show that somehow. And that's why I think on Etsy reviews is like the first thing that like comes up here, because they actually know that you'll click on it if there's a bit more trust there. All right. Those are all points that I wanted to make for that. Any questions on that product pages? You know what's cool, right? Like, and I've seen some businesses be quite successful just selling like 1 or 2 products, just like a few products that make most of their money. That's the same with us. Like we mainly sell the rainbows, the trains as well, and affirmation plaques. Those are like on letter blocks, so like block letters. So like we have a lot of basically like most of our revenue comes from those products, right? And this means that it's actually not that much work if you want to like craft your offer like on a web thing to actually like make a good impact. So when I was like learning these concepts, because like we've done our own like mentorships and like programs and stuff, when I was like learning a lot of these concepts, I was like, oh, but I've got like over 100 products. It's like, just do like the 10% of products that make 80% of your revenue. Like just start with those. And I did, and it was great. I mean, imagine if you could just make more sales just because you just made one tweak one time to your page. This is the concept that we're talking about here is like high leverage. You make one like the input is relatively small to go and make an edit to this page. You just follow some of these concepts, look at the YouTube videos talking about, just get an idea of it and edit your page, right? It'll take you like an hour, not even. Maybe taking the photo will be the hardest bit, like that visual bit, or like the longest bit. And then the reward is any other time that you sell this product online or even in store. Like if even the concept, like it still works even in store. Like you have a bag there with the keychain on it, like you do that one time, right? You have these images in the copy and then it's just like there forever. Yeah. It's high leverage and you don't even have to pay for it, right? It's not like you're just going to pay more ads. So my idea and why we've like stripped back a lot on ads, or basically like halved our spend there, is because I want to make it more efficient and more effective. So I want more people to click on the products for the same amount of spend. And I want more conversions from that. But before I go, you know what, I'm going to like double the ads. Yeah. This is why I wanted to talk about this with you guys today, because it was like, fresh in my mind. All right, let's open up the floor. Any Q&A general questions now? Or what problems are you guys facing that you need help with? Tell me all your thoughts, all your secrets. Everyone's printing away. Eddie, how's that car print going? Is it still going?
Can you hear me okay? Excellent. Yeah, it's going all right. The print itself, I think, is okay. I just need to fine tune that pattern to get it right. It's certainly in the right direction. I just got my computer back yesterday. So I haven't had a chance to plug it in and test it out, see how it goes in Blender. But certainly computing power, I think, was a problem.
Yeah.
That. I wondered how you guys went with it. I think you battled a little bit with that file.
Yeah. I had better success at home on my gaming PC. It's got a good graphics card, but I used it mainly for design. So I would design like assemblies with like almost 1,000 parts in it. So it had to be good.
Wow.
Yeah. So this was the glass printer that I was talking about. So yeah, running like SolidWorks and stuff on it. So yeah, but when I tried it on the laptop that I'm using now, if I went too small with the mesh, it just couldn't handle it. Like there wasn't enough memory or whatever, like processing power there. So yeah, what I would do to fine tune the texture is like, so going to Blender, like the main things that you're going to like change there, like the strength and maybe the size of it, or maybe the size is like fixed because it's like matching the size of the texture that you've got in the car already. But yeah, maybe fix that. And then you just got to change the strengths, I guess. Yeah. So you might just have a few different strengths that you like change. Is that what you think the issue is? How much it comes out?
Yeah, that's right. It's not like it probably needs to be just half what that is, but
right.
It's sort of a fine texture, but it looks fantastic and it certainly hides all the layer lines.
Yeah, it's amazing how that works, isn't it? But they're still there. You just can't see them because of the texture. It's like incredible.
Yeah. But one thing I was going to try was experiment with different layer heights. See if I can bring it up to 0.2. That'd be nice just to speed the print up because it's a 36-hour print at the moment. And I'm hoping to do these things on demand a little bit.
Yeah.
And just tell people, all right, well, allow a week. But yeah, I'm hoping to sell maybe 50 of these things fairly quickly.
Awesome.
Which would be great, but it sets me back 2 months.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, getting another printer will kind of double your output, which is good. And then the other part of it is slicing optimization and design optimization and changes and tweaks. Obviously, printing into one part is the most ideal, but like today, I'm starting to make another course, slicing optimization, it'll be called. Like basically what it's going to be is like me going through different use cases. So it might be like, okay, here's a multicolor print and we're going to try and just reduce the time as much as we can, but have the same outcome. Awesome. And what I think will and there'll be a lot of different cases. It'll be like printing large parts, printing detailed parts, printing this, printing that, and just like trying to like optimize it for slicing, not just to make the print time lower, but also make it more reliable. Because if you print like 50 of those, but 20 fail, like I've just made some changes now, and actually I want to do a video on this, or it'll probably just be in this slicing thing course. Have you guys ever printed like a flat surface, but then it's got like text on top, like a keychain, let's say?
Yeah.
What you'll notice on that top surface, it like jumps around where the writing's going to be, but the writing's not there yet. And then you might change color and then the writing goes there, but the nozzle has like done all these unnecessary movements. And like you can change that in the slide. There are settings that allow you to just go, just print like that as a solid base. It's just going to fill it in normally and then print the text on top once you get to it. There's thousands of settings. Like there's so many. And just over time, like I've printed functional parts, anesthetic parts, multi-part, like all these kind of things. I've just like gotten to learn like a lot of these like things. So I might look at that design, Eddie, and go, you can go to 0.2 layer height. I mean, it's got a texture anyway, so it's going to be hiding it. What are you printing it out of? What material is it again?
It's ASA at the moment, but I mean, I want to look at ABS as well. I think it'd be cheaper for one, and it's a bit more matte, which is desirable.
Right. Yeah. And that's what I was going to bring up. Like in your slicing, you have the option of changing temperatures and speeds of the outer surface, which allow you to change the optics of the outer surface. So I work with glass, right? So like we talked about optics all the time, and like you know, like, so if you look at your, even your car windshield, or just even any window in your house or whatever, do you know that glass is actually green? Like, it's colored green. If you look at the edge of it, it's green. You can't see the edge in your house window, but the glass is totally green. It's only transparent because it's quite thin relative in that direction. Whereas when you look at it on the side, the edge is 100% green. So like optics, like there's a lot of things that like affect optics, the opacity of the material, the surface finish of the material, and that's how it cools. So that's why the temperature plays a role, and speed, and your fan speed. There's actually like a lot of things that you can like play with. And this is why doing test prints and stuff can actually like help optimize. And you might think like, oh, that's going to like, I'm just going to like work more. Like I'm adding more work. It's like, no, you're adding more work so you can optimize it. And then you do less work later. It's like high leverage again. You do this once. And then whenever you print ABS in the future, you know you've got the optimal settings for those parts to make them the most that it could possibly be, or to print the quickest with the right settings. So yeah, I mean, like I suspect if you did some of that and you got the surface finish to be matte and you've got the texture on there, that you could go up to 0.2, and you might need to play around with speed a little bit too. But yeah, I suspect that you would be able to do that. It might just depend on the orientation of the part. You still want to avoid stepping as well, but you're not locked into a set layer height, because we've got something called variable layer height as well. It's actually like a lot you could do. You could have it 0.2 a lot of the way, and then where it needs to be a bit lower, you smooth it into there. But you're just going to need to like test and play around with it.
It's looking really good. I'm itching to hit go on it. I'm so close.
No, that's amazing. So just turn down the strength and see how you go. I mean, it might be just good enough like that, and then you're happy. And then it'll just be like, just keep a basic log, how many like prints you do and how many print failures, just to like, does that one fail a lot in that material? Have you printed that a lot?
I've printed a couple of times. It seems if I can hide some of those little imperfections, when you say fail, like
it doesn't suit what you needed it to do, and then therefore you had to do it again.
Yeah. So when I was printing in the PETG carbon fiber, I was really critical of it, and it would only fail at the very last sort of 10%, which was so frustrating because it would print the whole lot perfectly, and then it'd like drag a few blobs across this top surface. But I worked around that. I reduced the flow rate. I increased the walls, and I think what was happening, it was creating like a pocket of air or something. It was sort of bubbling when it was doing those top, but that issue went away. But since moving to the ASA, that hasn't been a problem as such. So I think it'll be all right. Like supports all seem okay. I could probably take a little bit more out of them just to reduce material and increase speed. But I also really wanted to try and make some reusable supports and I need to dig into this a little bit.
Support.
So yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Go on.
Okay. Essentially, you run it up because it's basically a balance point up until a point at 45 degrees, which is just what it requires. And then when it hits this area, because the part was printed on an angle, and so it's just printing on the bed. If you can imagine the top part of this angled section, it's just growing on the bed. It's just wasting material. It's not actually supporting until it gets to that last 10% of the print. So the idea is that you print a little jig on the plate, like 4 little corners or a key or something. When it comes up to that curved part of the model where it's just about to print, you insert a pause, open the door, put your jig, put this reusable support on top, and then you hit play again, hit resume, and it kicks off and does the layer on top of your reusable support.
I got you. Yeah. That's what you were going with it, but I thought, no, hang on, really?
Now, I don't know if it'll work yet or not. I've seen
it will work. Like you could make that work. It's just, do you really need that to work? Like, like how much material are you saving? Like, what's your labor worth to you? You know what I mean? Like if you're going to do that 50 times and you're introducing like another potential like failure point, what if it pauses and it sits there for 3 hours and the temperature changes?
That's a problem. So that's the downside. You've got to be there. You're trying to avoid introducing a layer line or something, a dodgy layer line. But you save 100 and 150 grams of material, and it'd probably knock off 4 hours of time. But yeah, I know. But that was just one thing that I was just sort of kicking around. But
yeah, fair enough. I mean, like I haven't seen. Is this the same part that we did the texture on?
Yeah.
Like
I don't think it's probably not worth it. I'd probably just get another printer and just forget about it and take that.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is that like, so what's 150 grams of that filament like cost?
Yeah, might be 10. No, it wouldn't even be that. Might be $5.
5. Yeah, let's say it's 10 just for whatever. Like, so it's 50. Well, yeah, let's say it's 5 because that's probably more realistic. So yeah, $5 times 50 was $250. But if if that saves you like 10 minutes of labor and a couple of print fails, like you're already like ahead.
Yeah.
So I reckon just
reliability is number one. That's the main thing for sure.
Yeah.
I'm happy to forgo that $5 or $10 to have a reliable printer.
Yeah. And then you just charge it for that, right? Like it's just an extra like whatever. I'd be interested to hear what you're charging for it as well. Because this bit is like for the handbrake, right? Something like that.
Yeah. So I was aiming for $250, and it sounds like a lot, but I've spent a fair bit of time on it for one. I'm trying to recoup some of that.
Yeah.
It's about right in that market for this part.
Okay. Like as in like off the shelf, like factory produced parts are around that price.
You can't get them. So
you
there's
can't
no
get-
competition.
Yeah. So when you say it's
For one.
about the market for that, what do you mean?
I know that market because I am that market. I have this car and I've been in these circles for
Oh,
a
you're
while.
saying
I
what
know
people will probably pay for it.
they would expect to pay for this item. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay. I get
it's-
what you mean now. Yeah. There's no,
Yeah.
they actually can't buy it currently though, just to clear.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
actually selling something that doesn't exist otherwise.
There's a variation of it that had an
Oh,
push
okay.
tray, but it
Yeah.
was only in certain models and we didn't get them in Australia. So it's
Ah.
hard to get it if you get it and it's not the same. And I'm providing that part. Plus there's a few value adds like the leather handbrake cover to go with it. And
Yeah.
the nuts and bolts and so I'm sort of making it really easy for them to justify, oh yeah, that's a worthwhile purchase. And it doesn't look like crap. Like it looks legitimate. I could
Mhm.
probably push it up even further,
Mm.
but I think at 250, it's about right.
Yeah. So yeah, 250 is about right. Yeah, maybe. I obviously like it would take a longer conversation for me to like really wrap my head around it and like ask what I need to. But just one thing that I'll say, like without knowing exactly the market and what the value and all that stuff is, you always want a bit of room to move. Like maybe it's a $300 part and you're going, hey guys, the first 20 I'm doing 250 or whatever, or the first 50. I don't know. But yeah, you could even say something like that.
Yeah.
Then you can move. It's like, and then I don't know, because you start a business and then it's like, 10% goes like straight to GST or whatever. And then it's like, so that's $25 already. So I'm already down at 225. And then you might want to like take out like labor and then, your print time. And then you might want to add print failures in there. So if your part costs $20, but I don't know actually how much material does it use? It might not use that much. Actually.
That's the thing. I might have gone too strong on it. So it was using like 500 grams for the model.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it's like a $20, $30. Yeah. Okay. So $20, $30. And then you add the material. Like the actual print time is like significant here. So that would have to come into it too. Like that might be to distribute like the life of your machine, like kind of thing. And it's a bigger machine. It's not like an A1 mini or something.
Right. And then running it as ASA or ABS, it's higher temperature, so more power. And I've got to dry the material. I might have rolled the dice a little bit on PL, but PETG I don't, ASA I don't. I can't afford for it to not work. So I'm drying it for 12 hours.
Yeah. So it starts to add up like the amount of work it is. And like, if like for you, just got to like figure out like, is the juice worth the squeeze kind of thing? Like, and you need to know how much juice you're going to get out of it. Right. So just what I'm saying is just sit down and like really try and outline what you're going to get from it. Because the last thing I want to happen to you, Eddie, is that it'll be like a bittersweet thing. Like you might get 50 orders, right? Like you're saying, like you might sell 50 like really quickly, but then you start to make them and then it's like, crap, I should have charged way more for this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That is the last thing I want, because that'll just like take the joy out of it. The joy out of it. You just feel like you're working for the man again. It's like, damn it. Yeah. So anyway, the calculator that I think we've shown in the community has some of that inbuilt in there. You can make your own Excel, obviously. I think I've actually posted my one a while back, a little template, just to take into account like the print time, labor, all the other little nuts and bolts costs. If you add all your costs up, just have a look at like, does it make sense with the 250? Like if all your costs add up to like $50, great. Like you're charging 5 times. And I think that sounds right to me. Your costs add up to like 70, 80, 90, $100. You're starting to go like, you'd be starting to just think about it more. So it's like, do you want to make, so it's just me trying to like, because like, I reckon like the product, especially it's like the first of its kind, and you've got the texture and you've got like the assembly bits, you're adding a lot of value. So I think, I guess there's 2 things that I'm saying. I don't want you to undervalue yourself. And then, I don't want you to get into a position where it's like, oh, I should charge more, damn it. Maybe even with
I like the introductory offers a great idea. I like that. I might start with that.
And you can only do that if you say that the price is 300 and then go, but we're going to do it at 250 for the first 5 or whatever, first 10 or whatever it is, whatever you think is reasonable. Yeah. Anyways, cool. All right. Any other questions? Liz, Kat, how we doing? All good. It's 10:30. Probably go to my next thing now. Make this slicing course. If there's any courses that you guys, any course ideas, let me know. Always keen.
How's the course working, Tony? Like, what do we need to do to access the course?
Which one?
Well, you just said the slicing course that you.
Okay, so I've just started to make that one. We're just about to release a parametric design course. We've got a few courses in the, in the classroom section. So if you jump over to the classroom section, they'll all kind of be in there. But the slicing course won't be there yet. We haven't even I've just kind of started like making it really. Yeah. So the designing one, like we get a lot of questions around design and how to start design. So we started with that one. So that's using parametric design software, Onshape, to learn how to like design your own things. I was really like primed to like do a course like that just because of how much of that I actually used, with 3D printing. I mean, I still use it now. So the slicing one will be an addition. We're going to have a business one, which I think we spoke about once a while back. It's kind of changed a little bit, but there's going to be like more of that kind of thing happening now that we've like grown a community. It's like a lot clearer to me, like what people might need and might want. So I understand the problem better. So therefore I can make a better solution to that problem. So as new courses come out, I'll put like announcements up so you won't miss them.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
I think it's just one thing. I think it's incredible that you're doing all this stuff, especially with a new baby. Like I know it's so draining mentally and physically, and congrats to both you and Victoria.
Thank you.
It's incredible.
Thank you so much. No, that's awesome. No, I really appreciate that. Yeah, it's been challenging and like sometimes quite difficult. Yeah, like my parents came over now because as I'm working from home, like I can't be like taking care of them. So like, Victoria needs help and stuff. And like, I'm sure you guys know how hard it is with the little ones running around, especially when one of them's 2. The potato's easy to take care of. The other one, not so much. But I'm really grateful because like a lot of these things that I've like learned with 3D printing and like the business side, like really helped me like optimize the workflow. So like right now, I think I've got like 2 outstanding orders, right? We did like $5,000 last month, just like $5,000 last month. I was in and out of hospital. We halved the ads. So we did the same, a bit about the same as what we normally do. Actually, we made 4.5 times more than we did last January because last January we actually closed health reasons and stuff. And even with the new babies, I was able to get everything out. Like it's really the workflow optimization that allowed me to do that. Like some of the orders that I can do now, like $150, $200 orders, like I can design them like really, really quickly because I've got templates and stuff. And then I queue them for printing inside when I'm like looking after Eva sometimes or whatever, but mainly like after hours or whatever. And then it's just, and then it's just going and hitting print. Like literally, like I don't have to think, like the order number's there, it's connected like with the right material. And I just like go and like press one button and it's done. And then my packaging station is like fully like decked out. Like I know exactly where everything is. I can like do it like blindfolded basically. So, I guess like this, what I'm saying is, thank you. And also, it doesn't have to be like with the 3D printing, like it might seem like a lot of work, but sometimes, if you get it right, it doesn't have to be a thing. Yeah. All right. We'll leave it there. I will see you guys next time.
Thanks.
Thanks guys.
See ya.
Thank you.
Bye.